Hey guys, I hope you're doing well and staying warm. This is now week 4 of distance learning. I had a pretty good feeling that we would be doing distance learning. Oh, see, I'm tired. We'd be doing distance learning this week. It's just so incredibly cold. These are the coldest temperatures that have ever been recorded in my lifetime here. So it's pretty historic and pretty significant. Unfortunately, being able to do virtual learning now kind of makes a little bit of a bummer because you don't really get a full snow day. I know a lot of you aren't sitting in front of your computer from 7:30 to 3:20 because some teachers do give you flexibility, like me. So I do hope at some point you at least get to enjoy it a little bit, but be very careful. It will not take long before the snow can really hurt you, and mostly the temperatures can hurt you. So the twins and I ventured out today for about 4 minutes until I couldn't feel my lips and we had to come in. So, but it was fun while it lasted. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the notes that I have posted on Google Classroom for you. So let me do that. All right, there we go. So when you pull up this week's keynote, the very first slide is a week at a glance. I have it broken down into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have a virtual Friday this week. So I have it broken down into work for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is all posted on Monday, just like any other time we've done virtual. So you don't have to do it one a day. If you do it all in one day, that's fine too. You just have to get your work done. That's all I ask, okay? Work really should be turned in by 3:20 on Friday. But of course I usually give you till Sunday anyway. So for Tuesday, which should be today, I'm recording this Monday night, so this should be Tuesday, that you're watching this, February 16th. We're gonna finish up animals with a web quest. So all you need to do is go to the Google Doc that's called Animal Behavior Web Quest. And actually, I'll pull it up here so you can see it. Let me go, whoops, it's not what I wanted up. Stop it. That was weird. Okay. I don't know what happened. Let's try this again. I'm going to pull up the Google Doc so you can see it. I don't know. Sharing is paused. Bring your shared window to the front. Oh, do I have it? Hold on. New share. This one. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh no, now what's happening? This isn't what I want to share either. Okay, hold on. Technical difficulties. Back to Zoom. Share screen. Share this one. There we go. Okay. So this is your animal behavior web quest. When you pull it up, it says animal behavior web quest, answer in a different color, please. This is all done in black. So if you will please change your font color to answer these questions. So to do that, you're gonna go right here to this little A. And of course, my favorite color is purple, so probably answer in purple. So really? Undo, 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 undo. My answers are now easy for Miss Barrett to read. So when I'm reading and go through and see the different color, purple, whatever it be, please don't do yellow or something like stupid hard to see. Okay, just do something I can read, but that's obviously different. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to this website right here, and you're gonna read through that article and answer these questions. Once you get to 7, it says click on Animal Training Basics. There's a link on that website to that. There's a link on there to Animal Training Philosophy. I want you to give example of the 3 important steps: reinforcement, communication, and target recognition. You're gonna go here, you're gonna go here. So you're gonna click on these different things. All of that is 1 through 10 is from this website here for SeaWorld, okay? Then on number 12, you're going to go to this website, and list 5 animals out of the 10 there that you read that hibernate. And lastly, for number 13, which consists of several different questions here, you're going to go to this PBS website and answer these 1, 2, 3, 4 questions here. Okay. And then you just simply turn it in on Google Classroom. I'm going to stop screen share. I'm going to go back to your notes and share again. I feel like there's probably an easier way to do this. I just don't know how. All right. So the work for Tuesday, that's basically done. We're finishing animals. I feel like I've kind of beat animals into the ground. I've extended it a couple extra weeks. I still have the movie I want us to watch. And I think because I went ahead for the rest of the week and started working ahead on energy resources, that will still be okay to watch the movie when we get back. So anyway, hopefully we'll do that. So this is basically going to be your work for Wednesday, or just your second set of work. So we are going to talk about non-renewable and renewable resources. You guys have probably heard of these before. So some of this will probably be new information, or at least maybe how some of these different energy resources work. But overall, I don't think this will be just completely brand new information you've never heard before. Okay, so for Wednesday, we're going to basically go through these notes on non-renewable and renewable resources. So if I use the word non-renewable, what does that mean? Non means not renewable, so able to be replenished. I think non-renewable resource. Non-renewable resources are natural resources that cannot be remade or regrown at a scale comparable to its consumption. So what does that mean? Comparable to its consumption. So let's think about a tree. I cut down one tree, it takes 30 or 40 years for a big oak tree to really grow and mature. I cut it down, I turn it into books. For one tree, I have to wait another 30 to 40 years for a tree to get big enough to make that same amount of books again. That's, well, that resource is technically renewable because I can get it to go again. It's considered non-renewable because I can't replenish it fast enough to meet demand. Trees don't grow overnight. If they did, then we could use them a lot more, but they don't. Fossil fuels, coal. Okay, coal is made deep within the earth, and it takes years and years and years and years and years, like hundreds of years to make coal. Okay, to make petroleum, which is our fuel, our gasoline. Okay, it takes hundreds of years of pressure from the earth and heat from the earth's crust to make that, and then we mine it or drill for the oil. We cannot replenish it. We can't just go in and make oil in a matter of a day or two. And that's why we're getting this big push to use renewable energy resources for large energy consuming things, such as how we power our house or our cars. Because at some point, we will use all of the oil that's shut away in the earth's crust that we can get to. Okay, we're going to use it all, and we can't just replenish it. It would be hundreds and hundreds of years before there's even a little bit more made. So it's really, really important that as time goes by and as we use more and more of these non-renewable resources, that we find renewable ways to also supplement our energy needs. Okay. Nuclear energy. Let me move my, I don't know. So nuclear fission is of uranium is used to create energy. Okay. And so we use uranium and we create a fissure, we split it. Okay, so one uranium atom is split, it releases this massive amount of energy, and we use that to power things, which nuclear energy, one atom can power like a whole city for a couple days, depending on the size of the city. It's actually kind of amazing that one little atom has so much energy stored in it. However, it is non-renewable. Why is it non-renewable? Well, because when all the uranium's gone, we can't split uranium atoms anymore. So once it's gone, it's gone. Uranium is an element, it's naturally occurring. And once we've used it all, we've used it all. There's no remaking uranium. Coal, petroleum, and gasoline, all of those, kind of like I mentioned earlier, are considered non-renewable because they can't be replenished in a short amount of time. We also call coal, petroleum, and gas. And by gas, I mean natural gas. So petroleum is our gasoline that's like in our cars. And gas means natural gas, which is like a gas oven. There are cars that can run on natural gas. My husband's truck can run on natural gas. Things like that. But again, those things are made over hundreds and thousands of years inside of the earth, and then we have to go in and mine it or drill for it. We can't just remake them. And that coal, petroleum, and natural gas, those non-renewable resources are called fossil fuels. Why are they called fossil fuels? Well, because the stuff that they're made out of is straight up remains of the dinosaurs. Okay, fossils, things that used to live, being broke down into carbon and compressed into coal and all these different energy sources, which are great. We're just going to run out at some point. So we look at how coal is made. If you start over here on the left, here's a swamp 300 million years ago. That's before the dinosaurs. Okay, that's really before we had a lot of legged creatures. Okay, but we did have plants, and we had a lot of these giant plants that died in the swamps. Okay, fast forward to the middle here. Okay, 100 million years ago, we've got our dead plant layer on the bottom. We've got a nice layer of dirt. Then we've got our we've got water again. Okay, so the plants get buried under water and dirt, and then they're now being pushed further and further down closer to the center of the earth. Well, the center of the earth is very hot. Okay, and also the further down you go, the more pressure you have. So now we have heat, and pressure is turning the dead plants into coal. When things decompose, they give off carbon. Okay, and carbon is the main component of coal. And so the heat and the pressure turns those dead plants into coal. And then we have to go in, dig all the way down to the coal and mine it. Okay, and it's not only is it really a super dangerous job, it's dirty, it doesn't burn very clean, you get lots of soot, things like that. So there's definitely some downsides to using coal besides the fact that it's non-renewable. Oil and gas, kind of a similar thing. Okay, so you've got your 300 to 400 million year old ocean plants and animals. They die and they get covered by layers of sand. Okay, if you look in the middle, same thing. Sand and silt, plant and animal remains over the ocean. And then again, eventually the heat and the pressure turns them into oil or natural gas. And then we have to go build, you know, these oil wells that drill hundreds of layers, hundreds of meters, sorry, deep into the earth to get the oil and gas out. That also causes problems. I'm sure you guys have heard of things like fracking. So they use fracking, which is where they kind of like bust it up, get it to fly up through the earth kind of quicker than drilling it. And there's evidence out there that proves it causes small earthquakes. They're trying to ban fracking. Fracking is done a lot here in Oklahoma. So banning fracking would probably hurt Oklahoman jobs, but you know, maybe it's a good thing for the earth as well. So we don't have a ton of studies on it. The oil industry swears that's not what causes the earthquakes. The environmentalists swear that is what causes the earthquakes. And it's kind of whose side do you believe on that? So anyway, again, these took, look at this, 400 million years for these oil and gas deposits to get made. So again, that is not quickly renewed. What's the difference between these things? So if non-renewable resources, okay, let's go back here. What's the difference between coal and oil and natural gas? It's basically kind of the form of the carbon and how it's used. Okay, so the coal is a rock, obviously. I'm sure Santa has brought some of you guys coal before. Gasoline's a liquid, your petroleum's the liquid, and then the natural gas is a colorless, odorless gas that is deposited inside the earth. And we actually add the smell to it after we've gotten it, after we've mined it, or what is it called? Mining natural gas? Digging? I don't know. Natural gas wells, I think is what they're called. So when we use natural gas, we add that kind of weird smell to it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to detect it, and that can cause a lot of problems. So non-renewable resources work. They give us the energy that we need to do our daily things. But again, that has that prefix, that non, they're not renewable. We can't renew them fast enough. So what are our renewable resources? What are resources we can renew quickly enough to meet the demand or need? So we have several here. And that's solar, wind, water, geothermal, and biomass. So you probably heard of some of these and probably haven't heard of some of these. So let's go through them real quick. So solar energy is probably the one you all know. Energy from the sun. Why is energy from the sun renewable? Well, because as long as Earth is alive, the sun's going to be shining down on us. If the sun stops shining, if that sun explodes or dies, we die. So we can renew it, what, every 12 hours or so, depending on where you're at. Solar energy would be really cool up in Alaska, where it gets like 6 months of sun all year long, and then it gets like 6 months of dark. So they could maybe store energy for that 6 months. I don't know, but they can produce a lot of solar energy because they get the sun 24 hours a day for about 6 months out of the year. The way it works, if you look at this solar panel here, that big flat thing with the two black rectangles, that's called a photovoltaic cell, PHOTO, so photo, meaning light, which is light from the sun. And it captures the solar energy and changes it into electrical energy. Geothermal energy, it's possible once a couple of you may live in a house that's heated this way. It is done sometimes in Oklahoma. But geothermal is using heat that's in the earth. So we know the closer you get to the center of the earth, the hotter it gets. And there are ways that we can drill down and tap into that heat energy and then use it to heat homes. So you guys have probably heard of like Old Faithful, the geyser at Yellowstone, which I believe is that bottom right picture. It's a geothermal vent. So ever so often the pressure builds up and it spews this like hot steam literally out from the center of the earth. There are ways to harness that and use that to create energy. It's renewable because the center of the earth is always hot. Okay, so if we can tap into closer down to the center of the earth and get that heat energy going, then we can use it as long as the earth exists. Wind energy, this is another one you should be familiar with. We have some of these big turbines around here. When I lived in California, driving from 29 Palms to Palm Springs, California, you would pass this huge windmill farm. And when I say windmills, guys, these aren't small. These can be like 20 stories tall, and each blade of that windmill is as long as like a football field. Some of those turbines, or the blades on the windmill, are actually manufactured right here in Claremore, and they're so tall on the 18-wheeler that hauls them. Okay, so you have your 18-wheeler here, and then your blades go in. So I'm not talking about the blade this way. The blade's laying down. It's so wide that they have to come through the town of Claremore, and our stoplights are able to be tilted up. And so the city crew has to go through and tilt up the stoplights that are along the path of this 18-wheeler that's hauling the wind turbine. And they have to tilt the lights up so that it will fit under the stoplights, and they come back and tilt them all back down. And they actually haul these to the port of Catoosa and load them on a barge and then send them down the river, wherever they need to go to be made into the full windmills. But why is wind energy renewable? Well, because weather. Wind isn't always moving, but it does a lot. You're not going to be able to create a lot of wind energy if you put it in a place that doesn't get a lot of wind. Okay. You see them in Oklahoma where the wind comes sweeping down the plains, right? We're known for having a good amount of wind through here. But you wouldn't put them in a place that doesn't get a lot of wind, because what happens is those blades spin, and as the blades spin, they spin a little motor that creates electrical energy. Okay. And then it travels down and does whatever it needs to do, lights up whatever it needs to light up. So if the wind's not blowing, you're not making energy. In Palm Springs, they were kind of up on this hill, and so the wind would come through and spin them. Biomass is probably one you haven't heard of. So bio means living, right? So biomass is burning organic or living matter. So let's think, what could biomass be? Moss, peat moss, and different things like that are used to create heat, especially like in Ireland and Scotland. They have stoves that burn peat moss. And yeah, it's living matter, and they sit and burn it and gives off heat. It's pretty renewable because it doesn't take very long to grow. You can grow, a 12 by 12 square of peat moss in probably a week, if done right, maybe 2 weeks. You have to kind of have the right conditions, a greenhouse or something here, because our climate's not humid enough for it. But over in Scotland stuff, they'll grow it. Wood could be considered biomass in a way, living matter, right? It's at least living while it's still on the tree. We also have hydroelectric, which is basically water energy. So it's used from the flow of water. This is what like the Hoover Dam, the Oologah Dam, all the different dams are. So as the water runs over, it spins motors that then are used to generate electricity. Why is hydroelectric energy renewable? Well, so long as water's flowing, we can spin those wheels to create that energy. And water, our water's kind of always there. Now, we can't make water. So yes, if there was some major drought and all the water dried up, then hydroelectric power wouldn't be renewable anymore. But it's renewable right now because we have water, and we have these dams that the water runs through, and we have enough water to sustain it, to keep it going. You don't want to put a hydroelectric generator in a pond. Why? Because the water's not moving. This only works if the water is moving and spinning these things to create the energy. Okay, for today, or Wednesday, the rest of today's assignment is to go to Edpuzzle, and there is an Edpuzzle called Steve Trash, Renewable and Non-Renewable Resources, and he's going to go through and talk about these a little bit more and show you some more uses for them and show you kind of how they're used. And we're going to go on to Thursday. I'm not lecturing today, but I did assign 3 different Edpuzzles, and they're very short. They're like 1 or 2 minutes long each, over geothermal energy, wind energy, and fossil fuel. So it's just some little extra information on those. And then you're going to go to this next slide and do this slide assignment. So that is vocab slides for resources. So I want you to pay attention because this is slightly different than what you've been doing. So you need the word, the definition in your own words, a pro or positive thing about it, a con or negative thing about it, and a picture for each type of energy. Okay, so if I say wind energy, so I'm going to give the definition: energy created by the movement of wind. A pro for wind energy is that it's renewable, and we can renew it quickly. A con would be you can't get it everywhere. Not everywhere has enough wind to move the turbines, to move the thingies. And then I would have a picture of, the giant windmill, like what's on the background of these slides. So you're going to do that for hydroelectric energy, biomass, coal, nuclear energy, petroleum, natural gas, wind energy, geothermal energy, solar energy, renewable resources, non-renewable resources, and fossil fuel. They all have pros and cons, okay? Also, don't forget, this is a virtual Friday. Okay, so your virtual Friday assignment is on the next slide, and it's simply USA test prep. It's called resources. It's, I believe, 10 items. Most of it is classifying things as either renewable or non-renewable, so I don't think it's super hard. But again, this is the first time I've introduced this topic, so there's a lot of kind of that little extra work. I'll be able to go in and look at your USA test prep and have a good idea on if you understand some of this. Okay, and our understanding will, directly impact if we can watch my animal movie when we get back together. As always, I am available through Remind, through email. Email's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me because it goes straight to my phone. Also my Zoom room. My Zoom room I put up, but the problem is that I get busy putting in grades and doing other things on my computer. It's minimized down at the bottom of my screen, okay? And so if you join my Zoom room, it will email me, then I'll see that email and go click on my Zoom room, but it kicks me out after 45 minutes. And so what I've been running into is that I have it up and it kicks me out, and I've been out of it for 2 or 3 hours and didn't know it. So give me a minute or two to get in the Zoom room, and I'll help you face-to-face and one-on-one, okay? I hope you guys have a good week. I hope you stay warm. Maybe have a little bit of fun, go make some snow ice cream or something like that. Please don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. And I hope to see you next week.